If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Shut your fucking face! Your musicals are full of shit every single day. You people make me sick. Yes, you're so lame! Stuck inside your stupid dream. You don't know pain. Now I'm gonna make you scream! You're gonna fucking scream! Shut your fucking face! Your musicals are full of shit every single day.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw.
And I'm Yashar Pirasteh.
And we are joined this week by Jerome, Sable, and Allie MacDonald, who directed and wrote Stage Fright. And that's what we're going to be talking about this week. So welcome to the Kulturecast, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
It wasn't in sync enough, Jerome.
Wait.
You do it live.
You guys like NSYNC too? It's not just me?
Oh, God. No, not that kind of NSYNC, Yashar.
We're not talking about boy bands this whole hour?
Oh, no.
Oh, I thought we were talking about boy bands this whole hour.
That's what I was told as well.
We need to extol how 98 Degrees is the most underrated boy band of the 90s.
Well, that's...
It may not be untrue. Regardless of whether they're good or bad, it may be true that they are the most underrated.
In trying to make a joke,
so
unfortunately...
in this scenario, you're positing that O-Town never existed.
O-Town!
Wow. And you're not referring to... is he talking about Ottawa, Ontario, or another boy band that I've never heard of called O-Town?
No, O-Town. Jerome, use the internet.
Oh, I'm still getting used to cell phones. Like one thing at a time, one technology at a moment.
Selfies, Jerome.
Look, you and your chap snats and your
chap snats.
Instagramophones.
Are you wearing chap snats again?
When my lips get dry, I just chap snap them.
The buttocks of his pants disappear in 6 seconds.
That was a movie with one of my favorite actors, Nicolas Cage, Gone in 6 seconds.
Oh, don't broach that subject. We don't want to scare our guests away, Yashar.
Well, I feel like considering the subject matter, scaring people is what we want to do. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll just stop talking for the rest of the podcast.
So, Jerome and Ellie, have you guys been watching anything this week of note?
Well, the first thing you should know is, I don't know, Ellie, have you explained that you don't watch things?
Yeah, I didn't get into my religious beliefs, but I'm a non-watcher.
Okay.
I don't participate in pop culture. Probably inappropriate for me to even be on this podcast, but my religion of non-watching disallows me from doing that, so I would appreciate being able to.
I will say, in all seriousness, if we're talking about musicals in the spirit of musical month, I was blown away by Straight Outta Compton.
Yes, it was. That was a great musical. My favorite song was the "Fuck the Police" number. That was.
There were so many great numbers in that movie. Like when they get into the rivalry and they're cross-cutting between Ice Cube in the studio and everyone else listening to it. in the living room.
The no Vaseline scene.
Yeah. Oh man, it was an incredible musical.
See, you're just ruining it for it.
Spoiler alert: Eazy-E dies at the end.
I was just really surprised that there was no beating of women in the movie. Well.
Yeah, that was ancillary content.
Right. That's in the deleted scenes when Dr. Dre is throwing women down stairwells. That's part of the F. Gary Gray director's cut.
I mean, D. Barnes is just a footnote in history, really.
Ooh.
That's a positive.
Sounds like now we should do the 15 seconds of silence.
D. Barnes' career.
Best delete at.
I wonder if D. Barnes was a non-listener.
She's probably listening.
Yeah. So is the non-watching thing for real, or is that just you're like, I haven't seen anything this week. I need to.
Well, part of it is for legal reasons. Part of it is for religious beliefs. Right?
I can't watch things that are unsolicited. It's a legal thing. Should I end up having an idea that's associated with one of the things that I watch,
he's covered.
Legally advised to not watch anything or experience pop culture in any way, shape, or form.
Is that a real thing?
Ellie has an ongoing list of stuff where I'm like, oh, you got to see that, and it just gets added to the list. But he hasn't actually seen anything I've told him to watch.
There's so much pressure. Literally thousands of iconic films.
Yeah, literally.
Have to watch.
Literally thousands.
Literally. I'm assuming Transformers 1 through 4
are. Oh God! Don't listen to this man. Don't listen to this man. He does not speak the
Michael Bay is an auteur. That's all I'm gonna say.
I heard you guys love Casper. That's why I did this podcast.
Oh, yes.
Someone loves Casper.
Someone does love Casper, and we were told to go fuck ourselves because we didn't love Casper as much as this gentleman did. So
just go easy on the movie.
It's a movie from the 90s with a ghost, guys. Come on.
Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies. Inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Is that Facebook user by any chance the same guy who had the rotund face on Twitter? There was someone with a rotund face that everyone was suddenly piling on, and including like Bill Burr, and then he was trying to defend himself, and he's like, "You guys don't know the facts behind which you are insulting."
Are you talking about that fat Jew guy?
No, it was someone else. It was the rotund face guy.
I literally have no idea what anyone is talking about.
Rotund face.
Yeah,
but I agree.
I'll try to find it. Yeah.
I don't see rotund face guy popping up in my Google.
I'll find it later.
Rotund face.
Yeah.
Yashar, you've been watching anything of note?
Well, I saw The Visit yesterday. Oh. I just wrote a review on it for the site. I dug it a decent amount. I know M. Night's name has been dragged through the mud, blah, 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 blah.
Wait, hold on. M. Night has dragged his own name through the mud by making movies such as Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
And The Happening.
Yes, The Happening did happen. But he also produced. What? He also produced Devil, which is pretty cool. He did Wayward Pines. He was heavily involved in Wayward Pines, which I don't know if anyone saw this season, but I dug it a lot actually.
Interesting.
And he directed at least the premiere episode and maybe a couple others. And then The Visit it's like super low budget for like his standards. It's like $5 million. It's just. Are you guys familiar with The Visit? Or
yes.
Should I explain it to you? Okay, yeah. So
again, due to legal reasons, not.
Okay.
I mean, lawyer visits, but that's
it's these two kids are making this documentary for their estranged grandparents for their mom, and they go visit them for a week, and things just get like progressively weirder and weirder and weirder, and like something is clearly wrong with them. And it's just interesting because for a horror movie, a lot of times you don't get really three-dimensional characters. So I like that.
Normally they're made out of paper and they're 2D.
Yes. No, they're just like, oh, let's do this dumb thing, and then let's do this dumb thing. What are my motives? I exist, you know? And there's more to it than that. There's like an emotional core, and it's oddly funny and frightening, and yes, it has a twist, but it's not like some out of left field twist that you're like, this makes absolutely no sense. It's like, oh, okay, the movie's established this and this, I buy this twist. And if you're looking for like a cool horror flick that's a little different, and you want to see if M. Night can still do it, then I recommend seeing The Visit.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. Has anyone revealed what the M stands for?
Master Night? I don't know.
Magical Night?
I'm just, here,
I just always call him M. Night Shyamalan. And you can spell that out as you feel, feel fit.
I found it. So the M stands for Manoge.
Manoge. Oh,
Manoj. Like, right. I broke my nose the other day.
Nose Shyamalan.
Well, especially if you have a broken nose, you would speak that way.
Yeah.
I had a really M night last night.
Oh, we talking magical night?
No, Manoge.
A menage a trois?
A menage a moi.
Okay, his legal team is sending us a cease and desist letter as we speak.
Hey now. We've already gotten one cease and desist this year. I don't need another one.
Well, isn't it like these things come in threes?
Right, yeah. Yeah, we actually got a cease and desist from, was it Paramount?
Whoever is producing or distributing Zoolander.
Because we posted the Zoolander 2 trailer on our site, the one that was leaked.
Now, what exactly do you need to do after you've ceased? What is desist really referring to? If you've ceased, what more needs to happen after the cessation?
I actually read it as cease and dentist, so I ceased and then I just went to the dentist later that day.
I just assumed by desist they mean like stop posting this
cease and don't do it again.
Yeah.
No, but,
so I
imagine
shut down the site completely.
If you're telling someone to stop doing something, it's like stop and what more needs to happen after someone has stopped? Really?
I think they were asking me to shut down the site. Cease and desist. Shut everything down. Shut it down. Just shut it down.
Stop and retreat.
The letter said, stop, collaborate, and listen. ISIS back with a brand new invention.
Something that grabs a hold of me tightly.
And then there was like a little caricature of David Bowie at the bottom.
Minogue is back. He's calling himself Nightly.
Oh, shit.
Musical League.
Good old Minogue. You know, an M. Night Shyamalan directed musical would be kind of fascinating because the twist would be like, I got it. He would direct a regular movie, but the twist is the final act is it's a musical.
Mm.
So it'd be meta.
Are you guys in?
I'm 100% in.
I am not in.
You can use that idea.
Yeah. Just take it and run with it. Just take it and what was it's like other movies that have just started with a podcast and gone on to greatly successful scripts.
like Tusk.
Oh my god. Well, I see just shit all over the movie while you're at it. Speaking of things that I watched this week, I got insanely inebriated and rewatched Tusk, which might be the only way to watch that film.
Chris, don't cover your tracks. You love that movie sober.
I love that movie a lot, but it's even better when you're drunk. And I'm not talking like 2 beers in. I'm talking like 6 or 7.
So it's even better when you really don't remember it?
Yes. Especially the part where Johnny Depp shows up, because his character is actually funny if you're drunk.
He is very funny. Must say, a horrible French-Canadian accent. Well, we have yet to see a real French-Canadian cameo in film, and I think it's going to happen. It's just
Justin Bieber?
No, he's from Western Canada. Although a friend of mine actually played hockey with him the other day. Said it was.
That's a very Canadian thing to do.
Yeah, it was very weird playing hockey against the Beebs.
The Beebs.
The Beebs.
And the other thing I watched, also while inebriated, but it's one of my favorite movies, is Fletch. So, Fletch.
You like the one-word titles.
I do. Fletch, Tusk, Ben-Hur. It's hyphenated, but still counts. Oh, God. But yeah, Fletch is one of those movies that I watch frequently. So, I like to think that Chevy Chase is like that in real life, but we all know that he's not.
I've heard he's a riot to hang out.
Oh, yeah. That's what I've heard, too. Hey, also Canadian. So...
Is he?
Interesting.
I believe Chevy Chase is Canadian. He's a comedian from Canada.
Yet his name is.
No, he is not Canadian. I was thinking of Dan Aykroyd.
All old comedians look alike, right?
Oh.
Shit, we went there.
Yeah.
But I think Chevy Chase now looks like an old lesbian. So, along with Elton John and Paul McCartney. So. Because
if Chevy Chase played hockey with Justin Bieber, it would look like an old lesbian was playing hockey with a young lesbian.
Hot lesbian on lesbian hockey action.
I would watch that.
I bet. Chevy Chase and Justin Bieber making out, you'd watch that?
I heard Chubby Chase, and that gave me a weird mental image.
Well, Chubby Chase isn't...
Andy and Chevy Chase combined.
Chubby Chase isn't far from what Chevy Chase looks like now. So he does not look well. And if you're listening to this, Chevy Chase, please get well. Please
cease and desist.
If Community is to be believed, he's dead.
By the way, while we're talking about Chubby, I just I brought up the post about the rotund face. It's Brian Quisenberry. And the quote is, "You mock a man for having a rotund face without know the facts behind such."
That's what I was talking about.
Is that a Hooked on Phonics commercial?
No, that's a real Twitter fight between him and the rest of the internet.
Between him and Bill Burr, you said, right?
Well, Bill Burr was one of the guys who was piling on. Yeah, no, it's just really funny. Yeah, don't know the facts behind such.
I don't know if I'd want to get into a Twitter fight with Bill Burr, because I wouldn't want to look like an idiot in front of all his followers.
Speaking of Burr, I wouldn't want to get in a duel with Aaron Burr.
Oh my God, shut up.
I don't know if our Canadian friends understood that reference. It was very colonial.
Shut up, Yashar. Yes, Yashar, because they only live in Canada, and there is a cultural wall between us and Canada, Yashar.
Yes, if you asked me about Canadian history, I would say, I have no idea. So I wouldn't hold it against them for not knowing something like that. Ask me about Canadian history. I know nothing.
Well, I must admit, I don't know of Aaron Burr. But now it's the opportunity to teach me.
So Aaron Burr was was he in the Senate?
I don't know, Yashar. Even I don't know, because American history is just a cultural deluge of people shooting each other in the face.
He was an American politician, and he challenged Alexander.
Pretty much is.
He challenged Alexander Hamilton to a duel, and you know how they did the duels back then with the little one-shooter guns, and he's just famous for that. Did he kill Alexander Hamilton?
Yeah, Alexander Hamilton got shot by Bill Burr.
Yeah, Alexander Hamilton.
He was shot by Bill Burr.
And Alexander Hamilton was one of the key guys, I think, behind the American Constitution. So this dude I don't think it was anything particularly important.
This needs to be a podcast. We just bring people on who have no idea about American history and tell them things and ask them if it's true or not.
I think it's a show on Comedy Central.
Oh God, of course it is. It's probably hosted by Louis Black.
I am wearing a corset. Full disclosure.
Probably hosted by Louis Black.
So anyways, when he said Bill Burr, it just made me think of Aaron Burr, and it was just it's not really a big deal.
Yeah, he killed Alexander Hamilton. Well, there's a play on Broadway right now about that. There's a play called Hamilton. It's actually a popular new musical.
Speaking of Broadway plays,
it's going to be turned into a movie in 4 years. You watch.
Probably.
I went to my first one a few months ago. I saw what's the Book of Mormon.
Yep.
It was interesting.
Yep. Sure.
I'm still waiting for that to be turned into a movie so I can see it, because it has not played anywhere that I've lived yet. So
Yes. Should we talk about the reason we're here? Or, my American history is a bit rusty, but I can keep going if you like.
Let's actually talk about the movie that we have Jerome and Ellie here to talk about, their film. Stage Fright was released last year in 2014. The IMDb official synopsis is: a snobby musical theater camp is terrorized by a bloodthirsty killer who hates musical theater. Film stars Loaf, Allie MacDonald, Minnie Driver in a cameo-ish role at the beginning.
Limelight.
I think about Mom a lot. Maybe this is what I'm supposed to do.
You actually want to compete with those theater geeks? Those kids aren't normal, Ken.
Artie will be announcing this summer's Limelight production.
Passing of the opera!
Your mother's role.
She would be proud.
What is at the heart of Haunting?
A love story
It's about covering up who you really are.
Ellie, you're actually in the film as well in one scene, I believe. One scene? Two?
I played Oleg Penderecki, the non-speaking composer.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
The camp orchestra musical director and conductor.
Yeah.
Were you allowed to watch your own movie?
Yeah, have you, honestly, Batalion, have you seen it? Have you seen the film?
The short answer is no. The long answer is
no.
The long answer is Darth
The
Vader.
long
yes,
answer
I have seen it.
is negative.
Ellie was, not only did we compose all the music of the film together, but the hardest part of preparation was really growing Ellie's beard. It took months of persuasion.
For him to grow that.
It really took months. That whole thing was created out of eating energy bars, buying the right nutrition. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
To basically boost that level of facial hair.
Yeah.
It's roughly 10-week process.
Yeah, it was basically a beard of flax. Of digested flax, yeah, and
You mock a man for having a beard without know the facts behind such? Go flax yourself.
Yeah, no, that beard was real, and yeah, Ellie was in the film.
That's an impressive beard.
Yeah,
Totally real.
So I'm kind of curious, Yashar.
Yes.
What did you think of the movie?
Well, so
don't hold back.
Please hold back. Cease and desist.
So I didn't love it and I didn't hate it. I liked the lead, Allie MacDonald, right? Is that's the right person? I really liked her performance. The bait and switch with Minnie Driver was kind of surprising for me at the beginning. I thought it would be sort of like a Phantom at the Opera thing, and then it kind of was more of a generational look at these kids. So some of the character interactions were cool. What didn't really work for me was the villain reveal. When I first saw it out, it occurred to me, I was like, it's going to be the brother, but then I was hoping they linked it up to being the same killer from, I was like 10 or so years in the past. And when it was revealed, I guess, I'm sorry, I'm talking spoilers. But when it was revealed, I understood his reasoning for wanting vengeance on their mother's like ex-lover, or the one who killed her. But what I didn't understand is his wanton killing of random people. Like the director made sense because he was a complete D-bag, but the other random actors and the costume lady in the back, it just seemed so abrupt. And his music, in comparison to the rest of the film, where like most of the movie was sort of like almost like a high school musical type, pretty joyous thing, and his was like jarringly different, hard rock. I wasn't a huge fan of it, and so it was like two different things. It was like trying to be two different films, and I get that you want to be divergent, and you're saying this guy is completely separate from the rest, but his motives just didn't completely work for me, and maybe I'm nitpicking, but I think when you want to do it like a reveal like that, where it's like the brother, and then you give him some sort of really impactful backstory and why he would do that, and then just having him kill almost with no regard other than his sister, it was like you wanted to set it up to say, look how crazy this guy is, and look how, unpredictable he is. And then at the same time, you wanted to have an emotional heart and some resonance and be like, oh, but he's tortured because this happened to his mother. But it's like kind of like having your cake and eating it too, but it just didn't work for me. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I mean, we're definitely aware of the fact that a lot of people are mixed about the movie. It's not a movie for everyone, that's for sure. The people who have responded more to it probably had a lower bar for sort of, I guess, a higher tolerance, I would say, for the WTF factor. Like the screenings that we've had that sort of probably were the most rowdy and successful screenings. It's more of like a midnight audience where people are sort of up for anything and not. It's hard to know. Different people have responded in different ways to the movie.
Right.
But what you're saying makes perfect sense, and we've had lots of different responses to the movie for sure.
Well, and for me, I took, and you correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm kind of on the right track. The purpose of Buddy Swanson, played by Douglas Smith, who is Allie MacDonald's brother in the film, who is revealed to be the killer. I mean, we're just jumping way far ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, I just when you asked me about my thoughts, that's kind of
no, that's fine. He was there to be that stark change from the kind of joyous noise that the camp kids were making. Because ironically, he's like, I hate musicals. They're so fucking stupid. And he's sitting there singing, which is awesome. And it's pretty great if you think about it that way. I actually really like his character, and I like the design of the villain with the kabuki mask and I'm assuming that those were lids from cans that he had fashioned into those weapons.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I thought those were like
that's how Allie MacDonald realizes that it's him. It's because she looks at it and she's like, oh, that's from those giant cans that are in the kitchen at the commissary.
His mask was cool, but it kind of gave me like a Jigsaw vibe. Was that something you were going for, or was that just coincidental?
No, the idea behind it was more the kabuki mask that was being used in the camp play. Right. Which was then reappropriated by him. So the camp play was doing a kind of version of a more classical British mega musical called The Haunting of the Opera, and they had this mask. They decided to reappropriate that into a kabuki era, and then he was reappropriating the kabuki into his mask.
Got it. Not bukkake. that I'm not gonna lie, that made me laugh a lot, that scene.
There might have been some bukkake involved in the creation of that mask. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, is this on the record or off?
It was both.
all over the record. But for me at least, I saw this film last year on VOD. And I really liked it then. I watched it again last night. To prepare for this, and I liked it more now than last time I watched it, because I didn't really remember a whole lot. So I watched it again last night, and there was more stuff I picked up on the second time around, which is good for a movie. You want your audience to come back and pick up on more things, like the thing with the can lids from the commissary being used as the weapon. But sure. I really like the movie a lot. I can see why some people had the response that they did. I think that's a little unfair, because ultimately it's a horror musical slasher movie. I mean, I don't know if you're wanting like Oscar-worthy performances or if you just want to go in and have a good time.
I think it's definitely fair for people to have whatever response they want to have, and we're totally aware that it is a weird movie. Like, there's no question. Like, it's a tough movie to put in a box, and so it's tricky, you know, in terms of audience expectations and what they're used to and what they think it's going to be. But it's interesting to hear. Yeah, we've heard that before, that people who watch it more than once actually, when it becomes like they're enjoying it for different reasons. And the experience is different than the first time, where they're sort of following and having certain expectations. But yeah, anyone is allowed to enjoy it or be repulsed by it as they experience it. That doesn't bother us, because we were totally aware of that going in, that this is definitely going to be a weird project. You know, we had this movie sort of inside us that we felt we had to make, some mashup of death metal and cheerful, gleeful, musical theater kids. And when mashing those two things up, it's a dangerous alchemy, and weird things happen. No question.
And full disclosure, in general, I'm not a huge musical person. Like, I like several musicals, but it's not, it's probably lower on my totem pole. So maybe just my tolerance for things in them is lower. I don't know.
Well, actually, I think we're of the same camp for the most part, and I think that a lot of our spirit comes out in Metal Killer. I think we're well acquainted. We respect a lot of traditional, well-established musicals, but we actually cut our teeth on doing alternative musicals. We actually did hip-hop musicals many years ago. So our whole approach has been, not that Broadway friendly and not that British mega musical friendly, and sort of tired with the idea of how conventional it's gotten. And just speaking for myself, I'm not a big fan of Broadway musicals. I don't want to go see them. But for me, I believe that there's a lot of potential in the idea of the musical, or using music to fuel narrative. And unfortunately, if you go to Broadway, I haven't been in a long time, so I'm going to be speaking kind of naively. There isn't that much. I would say there isn't that much innovation in terms of the music itself. So part of the whole tension of the project is being able to do justice to what Jerome and I consider good music or classic music in the traditional musical, and then at the same time bringing in the rock influences, which we find more exciting to put into film. And to the points that we're all talking about, there is a tension. It's a very difficult thing to write. It's like, how much do you put in one camp versus the other? How also do you ride the tension between trying to do something that's aiming to be highly comedic, but at the same time genuinely scary? And it's as Jerome said, it's a difficult alchemy. It's very difficult to manage those things. And this is an initial feature. This is something that a really big learning experience with a lot of big challenges behind it. And it's not a perfect film as a result of it. But I think, the redeeming factor is when people watch it again and they say, oh, I got more out of it. Because I think that there are a lot of layers that have been put into it.
And that's fair. I will say another performance that kind of stuck out in my head. I don't know if you guys want to discuss this, but I really liked Artie's character. I liked him in the sense of it was a good character. Obviously, I hated him, but does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That was what you were going for. Right. And he was just so slimy and disgusting, and the whole backstage casting type, casting couch thing, and he had a great death. So
we literally used
just fell off
the actual casting couch from the casting sessions of the film. So it had been well
broken in.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious from my point. Some of the movie I can relate to personally. I knew kids like some of the kids in this movie in high school. And me being a huge fan of death metal and hard rock and, just intense music that these people a lot of people don't like because it's, really, it's not something that they like because maybe they just don't like the screaming or they don't like the guitar, any number of things. Was this for y'all kind of a way of saying, you might look down on our kind of music, but we can come right back at you guys type thing? A little bit of counterculture?
Part of it, yeah. We wanted to pit things up against each other because in our own, like Ellie was saying, in our own minds, we have love-hate relationships to different genres and different musical styles. And exactly, it's like, look, there are aspects of musical theater that are totally obnoxious and really annoying, as there are with probably any genre of music or sort of performance tradition. We wanted to both pick on things and celebrate them at the same time, because it's love-hate, it's like a love letter filled with a little bit of anthrax in the envelope at the same time. So it's like a love-hate letter.
So, Ellie, you and Jerome worked on the music together. Of the songs in the film, which are you guys the most proud of?
That's a very good question. Well, I think first of all, we're proud of the rock compositions, specifically because it's an area where we had done. I mean, Jerome and I have done a whole bunch of different composition, but we've never recorded a rock album per se. And being able to put this together, and specifically the people that we worked with to make it happen, really, we think did justice to that vibe very well. Specifically, Aram Mandosian, who's a composer in his own right.
Jack.
Jack, who helped us to. He was really great because he had an understanding. He's I guess he'd done the composing degree at University of Southern California, but he's also a rocker. So he had both a sense of how to create orchestral music and engineer it and orchestrate it, which is very key. But then also knew how to, lay down Metallica style tracks. So, for us, it was cool to be able to work with someone and be able to create this stuff. And in a relatively short period of time, put together stuff that we thought was pretty convincing and we would put into our own CD player, as it were. But there were also certain orchestral compositions, Where We Belong in specific, that, was a large, we wanted to do justice to some classic compositions like what you might hear in Oliver, for example, older Gilbert and Sullivan or British influenced musicals. And there was a lot of orchestration involved in that. And it's complicated, certainly from my perspective, someone who's naive to all the complexities of orchestration. There's a law. You're literally talking about a shitload of instruments to put together and to put them together in the right way. So, I think, just generally speaking, the more complex the tracks were and the more that they sounded like something that was within a particular trope, the more proud we were of them. But yeah, I think overall we're generally quite proud of the music that we produced for it.
I would also shout out Ryan Crosby, who did some sick guitar work all over the soundtrack, and also Rick Miller, who did the singing vocals for Metal Killer's voice. And yeah, obviously working with a legend musical icon like Meatloaf. I'm just looking at the back of the soundtrack, the CD, right now, and The Show Must Carry On. To get to record a track with, Meatloaf and also Rick Miller and also Ryan Crosby and sort of basically have it all happen in a 4-minute track was definitely a thrill. And also honestly, if I had to single out a single track, I would say the last one on the soundtrack, 32, Exit Stage Fright, which is actually the medley at the end, which plays over the credits and is a kind of a rock mashup medley of all of the tunes and arias that happened throughout the film. But
REA,
but rockified. And honestly, we had, in addition to Ryan Crosby, we had some of the top players of the Los Angeles Philharmonic play on this track. Players that are in the brass section and the woodwind section and the string section of the top orchestra here in Los Angeles. So there's some sick talent all over this score, actually.
And I think it comes through particularly well in the film. You can really tell that, not to kind of poo-poo another film, but I watched this week Cannibal the Musical, which I was not a huge fan of for a number of reasons. And one of those reasons was the music wasn't particularly memorable or well done. And that came through when you watch the film. And in Stage Fright, it's very apparent to me that you guys put a lot of time and effort into making sure that the music was as entertaining as the plot of the film was.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, it's good to hear that only because, yes, it's true. We actually spent a lot of time and effort on the music and obsessed over it for sure. And not just the composition of it, but the production of it, like Ellie is saying.
And, you mentioned working with Meatloaf. And Meatloaf had not sung in a film prior to Rocky Horror in like 20 years. He sang in Rocky Horror, and then he hadn't sung in anything until he sang in another film we're watching later this month, Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. And then he comes along and sings in Stage Fright for you guys. What was it like working with one of the seminal rock talents of the last 50 years?
It was incredible. Definitely a sort of a dream scenario, getting Meatloaf and getting him to play this role with so much singing. But you have to understand, Meatloaf approaches everything with 100% commitment from an acting standpoint. Even his music, he would say Meatloaf is a performance and is a character. And so in this, it wasn't like Meatloaf in the movie, because the person basically approaches this from a full-on method acting. Roger McCall is the name of the character. So he's doing Roger McCall. And it was very, very interesting to work with him because he approaches everything from a standpoint of truth. He cannot say a line if he doesn't believe it. And so initially it's sort of very difficult because you want to do, basic pre-records, basic rehearsal. And it's almost like, whoa, there's a lot of difficulty up front. You have to break through and earn that trust so that you can then get to that place where he's in the zone and he's committing the way he does 110%. And then it's really interesting. And it's like absolutely everything he does at that point, absolutely everything he does is interesting. Not all of it will be appropriate for the movie. And so you have to corral an interesting force of nature, but absolutely everything is interesting because he is so deep in it. And yeah, it was awesome, and I think everyone really respected that. People around him and people who were acting in scenes with him, he just goes out there. He goes all the way. And, it was like that recording the vocals as well.
And specifically, I guess you guys, are familiar with the kitchen scene at the end and the denouement there. But, he's an older gentleman at this point, and he was fully committed to being fully physically involved in that scene. And, Jerome, you could probably speak more to it, but, it was very impressive. And to be perfectly honest, I was very surprised by his level of acting commitment. And I was expecting more of just a musical talent. And as Jerome's saying, he's truly committed to the craft of acting first and foremost.
Yeah.
You guys said something that kind of piqued my interest when you were talking about how he gets really into the character, and you said some things you have to corral. Would I be prying too much if I could get an example of maybe some of the less appropriate things that you had to sort of leave on the cutting room floor?
It's hard to put into, words, but it's more like, look, it's like, what I meant was like, you want to go and do a table read with the cast when you're ready to go. So before we actually shot this at a camp, a working summer camp, about a couple hours north of Toronto, Ontario. So before we went up to the camp, we had a table read, and everyone's sitting around and everyone's so excited because Meatloaf is there and all the campers and the younger actors are there. But it's almost like he can't necessarily do half-assed performance. So when other people might just be able to just do the table read, just do it, just say the line. It's not that easy for him to do. And you would think it would be easier because it's like, come on, let's just table read. But that's not how he works. He does so much character preparation. He lived in a cabin at the camp while we were shooting. And he would go deep in the zone, in the cabin by himself. And then sometimes if I had the time, I would go there as well to rehearse with him and work with him. And he gets so invested where he's like going deep into Roger McCall, and he would talk to me about Roger McCall's backstory and his whole life and things that led him to this point. So he would try to understand the lines that he had to say, and why would he say this? Why would he say that? Why would he speak this way, that way? And he would get frustrated sometimes. He would honestly, and he would tell you the same story if he were on this podcast with us. Sometimes he would bang his head against the wall, and I would have to like stop him. I'd be like, meet, okay, it's fine. You know, because he's getting so involved in emotional ways with this character that obviously is complex and dark. You know, if you talked about spoiler alerts at the beginning of the interview, but you didn't spoil the ultimate reveal. And basically Meat was so fascinated with that multiple layers of darkness of the character that he did get dark in rehearsal and in performance. So when I said not everything would be appropriate, it's not like anything wildly off base. It's more like we're doing a take or we're doing a scene, and he might just, you know, try it one way or go in a certain direction, and it'd be like, okay, that's very, very interesting, but let's go in a different direction. And I can't think of a specific example that's interesting. It's more just like, you know, the work you do when you're working with actors on a set in a particular scene. You're kind of, that's, you know, you're corralling. That's what you want. You want people to be so deep in a zone that everything is interesting. And then you're just sort of nudging gently a little bit this way, a little bit that way. But you're not, you know, they're bringing it. And we had that for sure. From Meat, from Douglas Smith, from Allie, for sure. Everyone was willing to go there. As weird as the movie is, they were all committed to this weirdness.
That makes sense.
And Jerome, obviously, you're accredited with the writing credit for the film. When you were writing the role of Roger McCall, did you have anyone in mind, or was it this is Meatloaf, this is who I want, or did you have anyone else in mind for the role?
We definitely had Meatloaf in mind. The other person that we thought of, but then realized also was not possible was Tim Curry. We thought of him as well. We were thinking of people from, you know, perhaps it's not a coincidence that they were both in Rocky Horror, because these are guys who, you know, they did musical theater, but they did it in a way that had more edge, more rock, more balls in a way. And we were thinking of guys like that. But Meat was just perfect because he was willing to go even one step further and not just see this as, oh, this is interesting, it's a rock musical. It was like, no, this is for him, this was a complex character that he approached fully from that standpoint. I can't think of anyone else there were other people that we had to consider. But we were just, you know, thrilled when Meat was interested. And I remember the first meeting with him, and it was awesome. It was awesome to work with him. I
can imagine if the film had Tim Curry. Unfortunately, you know, with Tim Curry having a stroke recently, that's kind of a unfortunate situation. But that also would have been something.
Yes. There are definitely a few people, but not that many people who could have done this role in the way we were imagining it. Tim Curry being one of them. But yeah, that's the other thing is his health was a question. And hard to imagine too many people that have the musical chops and also the acting, sort of the dark essence.
I'd say the film in general was very difficult to cast. Not because everyone had a dark essence, but we really did need triple threats, not in the sense of dancing per se, but we needed talented people that also exuded a certain authenticity in the role as well. And Allie MacDonald is also interesting in that sense because we saw a lot of Broadway talent. But a lot of the Broadway talent were, you know, particularly, like they were people that were part of musical theater that grew up in their lives loving musical theater, going to these types of camps. And Allie MacDonald was interesting because she's kind of alternative and rock star in her own kind of way. And can do the musical theater thing, but isn't really a musical theater person. And so we really lucked out finding someone who also, you know, actually happened to be a Canadian because it was a Canadian production, which means that there's a certain amount of Canadians that one is supposed to have. But we also did, obviously with Meatloaf and Minnie Driver go beyond that in some cases. But
Just to bust your balls, what is the third threat that you're alluding to?
The threat of authenticity, Jerome. Fucking threatening, man.
Funny.
No, but casting was very difficult. We saw a lot of people. I forget, Jerome, if you remember how many people we saw with Jason.
I mean, we definitely this cast over 1,000 people we saw before settling on the roles, and there are 42 or 43, I don't remember now, over 40 speaking parts in the film, and we definitely saw over 1,000 people. So yeah, it was a long and grueling shake every tree, pound every bush. No, pound. I don't know.
Wow, you were talking about the casting couch earlier, so
okay, Artie.
Yeah,
so that was autobiographical.
100%. Yeah, and I am now post-mortem.
Well, you look good for a dead guy.
Yeah, right. You mentioned Minnie Driver as well. Obviously, she's kind of the other, I would say, veteran in the film.
Other than Ellie. Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, she was in the film version of Phantom of the Opera. I don't know if you guys ever saw that Joel Schumacher version. But,
right. Yeah, she played the
Carlotta.
Yes.
Yeah. So she was awesome, and it was obviously another thrill to have her and her experience. And also, it was fun because, yes, she has a British sense of humor, but also had never done a horror movie. I don't even know if she I don't think she watches horror movies, so she knows about them. But when it came time to engage in a very bloody scene with her, it was very funny. She was definitely game for it, but there was some level of, it's almost like, imagine someone skydiving for the first time. They want to do it, but it's still tough when it comes down to jumping out of the plane. So that was fun. And yes, she goes there. She really went there. And we thought that would be a lot of fun to kind of, one up the Drew Barrymore scream scene, to do it with someone as classy as Minnie Driver.
Well, and that's what I assumed that intro to the film was.
The Drew Barrymore thing, that I didn't make that connection, but now that you say that, I think, was that intentional?
Well, we improv'd it.
when I say intentional, like the scene was it an intentional homage, is what I should say. Or did it just exist in a separate universe and there's more coincidental? It just kind of was a similar type of technique that they did.
Yeah, hard to know, actually. Honestly, I can't even remember, because the original script I wrote, I think, in 2011 or 2010. So I don't think it was necessarily intentional homage, but the spirit of homage was not accidental when writing the entire movie.
Got it.
Yeah.
There's some really great nods. My favorite being the kid in the back with the saw doing the Leatherface dance.
Yeah, sure.
So
he was a triple threat.
That to me is the important part about making comedic horror films that are somewhat self-referential, is you need to do it in a way that isn't heavy-handed. Someone will get that reference, but it's not like you had the kid doing that in a Leatherface mask.
Do the Leatherface.
Right?
That is a good dance move. Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, Ellie and I have always sort of had, there are Easter eggs in the movie, and they function, we hope, in that way, like just little nuggets to offer the audience a wink and a suggestion that, yes, we don't take ourselves too seriously in this film, at least. I know, Ellie, legally you do. But yeah, that's the idea here. Is this is not a we wanted to have a fun spirit about this movie. That was sort of the idea there. So letting the audience in on that esprit was part of the DNA of the film, I guess.
It comes across as the film you wanted to make, and it has the jokes and style and feel that is, like you said, it's a film that is not going to be for everybody, but those who like it are really going to like it.
That's been our experience. Yeah. It's, especially, like horror buffs, theater buffs. Those tend to be the audiences that have gravitated towards it. There's certain metalheads and
even musical theater people, actually.
Musical theater people definitely would be the biggest supporters of the movie for sure.
Especially ones that can, are open to making fun of themselves and the generalizations about their group. I think they get it. I would actually venture to say they probably get most of the references, more so than most audience members. But it's difficult because there's always this tension of, are you making something that everyone is going to like across all of these different niche groups, or that nobody is going to like because you're not giving it specifically to one audience and you're only giving a fraction of what you're creating to a certain audience. I think there are certain people that are just not into it because it doesn't speak enough to them, but there is a group out there that for whom they really, really respond to it and they fully get it, because probably they've had a similar experience to Jerome and I as far as being exposed to the musical theater world and also being exposed to the horror world and sort of mashing it up together.
And, you mentioned that this is coming from personal, experience. How much of what you wrote about the kind of interactions between the campers, how much of that is from personal experience?
I mean, it's funny. Yeah, like Ellie and I used to do fringe theater. So we would do these plays at fringe festivals across the country, both countries. And we then went in college. We were doing our weird shows at the student-run Black Box Theater. There's like a 99-seater at our university campus. And that was really, the experience we had was we were always outsiders. We had our weird shows. We wanted to do in their theater calendar. And even though we wanted to integrate, it was like we were a different breed. And I'm not necessarily we were probably the weird ones, but we always just felt like we were on the outside of the theater kids, the theater group. And we never felt like, we were totally integrated. It was like it was just culturally, there was some kind of unspoken barrier where we didn't get it. So there was a lot of weird experiences, because there are a lot of rules that we had to follow with the theater, and we would break them either unintentionally or intentionally. And then when we went on to do our plays in other theaters across the country, we would do sometimes festivals, and then at a certain point we started getting booked in the regular season in certain cities. We came across very similar friction where we would work with the regular staff of a particular theater that was used to, I don't know, some kind of unspoken theater person code that we just, I don't know, for whatever reason couldn't adopt or integrate well with. And so it was like it's like, stranger in a strange land. It's like we just always felt this kind of weird. Now it's love, hate. Like I said, like there is also all the love, because we never would have been able to do our weird shows had we not had the acceptance we did have. But there just always felt like we just didn't get theater people, and that there was always like an in crowd that we were never a part of and always on the outside. I don't know if I'm speaking for you as well, Ellie, or if I'm saying anything that you would agree with.
Very much so. Very much so. And specifically with an eye towards musicals, that adding music to live performance is such a powerful thing, but it just seems so weird to us that everyone was obsessed with these show tunes from yesteryear. And like that was the only way that you could implement music in a live performance experience. And we just, for us, as guys that were, doing hip hop musicals at the time, that just seemed like, why would you want to limit it to this classic era?
Yeah,
it was probably exciting at the time, but it's like it was 50 years ago or 60 years ago. It's very bizarre to us that these kids grow up on this stuff.
There is a certain breed of musical theater person who treats these older musicals like they're religious texts, and they have a condition called musical Tourette's, where any word from an old show will trigger, just all of a sudden they'll start breaking out into the song that makes them think of, because they have musical Tourette's. And it was stuff like that just always made us feel a little funny inside. And yeah, it was that kind of stuff that we, I guess, were inspired by when we decided to kind of celebrate and skewer musical theater kids at the same time.
When you say all this, in the film, I feel like there's a couple parts that harken to it when the kids are like, oh, this is, the main riff of the first song is like, this is where we can come and, I'm paraphrasing, but it's like we can come and be ourselves at least for once a year. And is that kind of echoing your experience?
Well, the idea there is, it's ironic because, yes, musical theater kids will assemble at these camps so that they can be themselves because they felt outcasted throughout the regular school year. The double layer is that when Ellie and I were involved with theater people through our experiences, we were then the outsiders in their world, on their territory.
Right.
But look, it's all in good fun. Like, there's nothing too much at stake in our actual experiences. It was all fun and games. But it was more of a, we took a social awkwardness or a social barrier that sort of we remembered having again and again and again, and sort of took that to a sort of comedic extreme in the film. We pushed it, just for the sake of drama.
And, this is something that you and Ellie were talking about. And I, this is something that I felt, because I was in band, and I know, Yashar, you were in band as well. I
was in a marching band 4 years.
Yeah, I was in it for 2 years. I was in normal band for 4. Band is a fringe group in and of itself. And I was the same as you guys were. I never really fit in to those kids.
It's a very similar experience of not fitting in among, like, band is not necessarily, if I may say so, the cool kids, so to speak.
No, it's not. But when the kids in band think they're cool, it's the cool kids in the band.
They've created their own subculture and this sort of like culty subculture that, you don't necessarily feel a part of. And that's basically the experience that Jerome and I had with theater people in general. Even though we were very interested in the craft, it's just we couldn't relate to, I think, the insularity of it and the elitism of it, which is very bizarre to us, just seeing it as this small group that just, they seemed so afraid of everybody else that they needed to create their own hierarchy and their own insular world where they could, feel validated. Not to get too deep with it, but I think that was that's my psychoanalysis of the situation. And yes, I think band is a very good example. Growing up in Canada and the situation we had, we didn't do band, which is actually quite unfortunate. We didn't have anything like that in our high school. But I think it's a very, very similar cultural phenomenon of kids that are not the popular kids creating their own subculture of popularity.
And, and like I was saying, I was never part of that group, and maybe that's why I enjoy some parts of this film so much. I enjoy the film in its whole, but there are certain parts of this film that resonate with me more than other parts. And that's just me being a guy who was never part of those quote unquote the cool band kids.
What did you play?
I played the trombone.
Nice.
And my man Yashar played the tuba. So we were
tuba / sousaphone.
Yeah.
For marching.
Oh, nice. Well, there is actually a tubist in the.
I saw that, and I was like, I wonder if I could still fire up the old faithful. I haven't played in like 5+ years. I've actually been the last couple of years trying to show myself how to play guitar. I'm surprisingly mediocre right now, so I have that going for me.
You get your tuba and pick it back up, man. My trombone has a lofty spot in the basement of my house.
Just getting rusty, is it?
No, it's just sitting and waiting in its nice faux velvet lined case, waiting for the day that I pick it up, try to play it, and then put it back for another 5 years.
Yeah, I don't own a tuba. I just always rented one, but I don't really feel like dropping $2,500 on something I'll never play. But I'm interested in at least trying it again sometime in the future, see if I can still.
But that was the thing that really, one of the themes of the film that really resonates with me is that this group of people that doesn't fit in has people in the group that don't fit in.
It's like a Russian doll of social strata.
This is something that we've kind of already talked about a little bit, and Yashar obviously has kind of given his thoughts on the film, and they're more in the kind of middle of the road aspect. And I've talked to some other directors about this, but I want to get y'all's take on it. How does negative reviews affect your perception of your film after the fact, and kind of your career moving forward?
Well, it's obviously you hope when you make something that everyone will love it. I mean, you want, people, you want to reach your audience, but it's tough because if it's not, if someone in your audience, like if it's not someone who's meant to like it, then it's fine. It's like, there are lots of things where it's like, well, this movie is just not for them. But then there's also like, well, did we do enough and was enough done to reach our audience? So, it's hard to know. A film like this and the distribution that we had, we were lucky to be distributed by Magnolia in the US and E1 in Canada. But you always want to know, like, could more have been done, and could you do more? Will people discover it more later? It's tough because you have, we premiered at South by Southwest. We had an awesome screening then when we went to the premiere. But we always wonder, like, could more have been done to reach the New York theater crowd? Will they discover the movie later? The movie actually has been released in a lot of places around the world. It actually ran theatrically in Japan. In France, it was released. In Germany. There are some really funny DVD covers that we've seen, like the artwork for the posters and the Blu-rays that have come in. Like in Germany, for example, leave it to the Germans to put the villain on the cover. But yeah, we wonder, like, will people continue to discover the movie? As far as reviews are concerned, yeah, you want great reviews. And obviously it helps if you have, it will be obviously easier moving forward in career, the better reviews and the better response you get. So, having mixed reviews is it's sort of like, but then you just try to find the people who will respond to the work. And also, more importantly, as long-term career artists, you try to learn from the experience. Did we do what we set out to do? Could there have been, could we have done better, or what do we want to do now, and what are we working on in a way that we can sort of learn from the experience moving forward? Because that's really, at the end of the day, like, I can't remember when we finished shooting this movie, I think in 2012 or something like that. And so we've worked on tons of stuff since then and are working on a lot of things moving forward. It's all about trying to improve your craft and what you care about. And as you go into production again, sort of not, sort of being able to understand, like, okay, these are things we could do better, or this is a way we've done that. Let's try this, or, so of course it affects things, but you try to take the positive, constructive side of that and use it to your benefit moving forward.
And you mentioned before earlier that you knew who this film was going to be made for, and it wasn't made for the mainstream crowd. I mean, it really wasn't. I know.
Yeah.
As terrible as that might sound.
No. It's
it's
not a mainstream movie.
Right.
No,
and I think that is more of an admirable trait to have than going out and saying, I'm just going to make a mainstream movie and everybody's going to love it.
No, I mean, we don't like that many mainstream movies, and the idea here is trying to do something new. And yes, this movie has a lot of components that are outrageous. But whatever it is that we're working on, I think Ellie and I, we've always been more interested in the uncharted territory, because it's a lot more fun when it's risky and when it's like, ooh, this is interesting. I can't think of anything like this, or what happens if we do this? That's something we haven't seen before or heard before. I think that's just always been naturally at play when we are creating new work. It's more adventurous and riskier. You can fail more easily.
Yeah, and it also helps that you guys were making a film in a market that wasn't really filled with things as a lot of the other ones are. There aren't very many horror musicals.
Not that many, although there are some and more than you'd think when you start to think about it. Obviously, Rocky Horror, we name-checked, but Little Shop of Horrors, Sweeney Todd. There are definitely, they are out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all different one from the other.
What I would say yours is the first true slasher.
Possibly,
film.
yeah.
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 You know, for as great as Sweeney Todd is, I think Sweeney Todd is a little bit of a kind of cop out.
It's pretty slashery.
There's literal slashing.
Yeah. Although it's not really a mystery.
It's more like a Baker horror movie.
The Baker horror genre.
The Baker horror genre.
Yeah, it's a Baker musical.
Ginger Dead Men 3, the musical. Featuring Gary Busey in his first singing role.
That I would see.
Yes, I would watch Gary Busey with his horrifying visage singing a song as a ginger dead man.
If you want to see how disturbed I am, when you said Gary Busey, for some reason this came to my head. Busey and the Beast. And I don't know what I want to do with that. I don't know if it's a reality show or if it's a musical starring him in a dress.
You're missing literally the best option. A satirical porno of that with Gary Busey.
I would watch that as well. I don't know if I would ever.
The Beast XXX.
I don't know if I'd ever get through it from start to finish, but I would definitely have my favorite parts.
Without having to clean up yourself halfway through.
Yes.
What about the Italian stallion picture, Black Busey?
Yes. Black Busey.
Is that another porno? I am very much interested in whatever that is.
Yes.
Black Busey. Oh, God.
Well, I think I have a new game to play.
What? Try to not finish while watching Gary Busey porn?
I'm just putting Busey. What you're asking me to do is an impossible thing. Try to not.
That's
That's
an impossible dream.
What am I, a superhero? Anyways, sorry about my Busey fetish coming to light. I apologize. I'm a monster.
You love Nicolas Cage and Gary Busey. My God, sir, what have you done?
I love Nicolas Cage. I tolerate Gary Busey, but I would love to watch Busey and the Beast.
Busey and the Beast.
So before Yashar and I give our final thoughts on the film and kind of wrap up, Ellie and Jerome, is there anything, your final thoughts you guys want to put on the record about Stage Fright?
I think it's all out there for everyone to see. Available on Blu-ray and DVD.
And VOD.
But what about HD DVD?
What about they made Alamo Drafthouse made a special VHS just for Stage Fright.
Chris used to be a strong proponent of HD DVD.
I picked the wrong horse in that race.
I'd like to go
can't wait for the Laserdisc to come out.
Betamax, yo.
And
Betamax
we're still waiting for the soundtrack to be pressed to 8-track. But yeah, no, I mean, the movie is available for people who are curious. I hope the spoiler actually doesn't deter people from watching it, but more like perhaps they can embrace the idea that that's interesting. I actually know part of what's going to happen. I don't think they'll know everything that's going to happen, but also, yeah, we did release the soundtrack as well on Lakeshore Records. Which for anyone who's seen the film, if they're interested in the in revisiting it for the sonic experience,
including, and I'll spoil more, a very special hidden track.
Oh yeah,
I'm not sure many people are aware of, but we're breaking this exclusively on your podcast.
That's true. There is a hidden track on the soundtrack.
And how would one find it?
It's
up, down, left, right.
A, B. It's just a contra code and then your radio explodes.
You're like, the joke is the hidden track is you have to buy it all over again.
That is funny to think of Stage Fright as an 8-bit video game. Or perhaps like Guitar Hero, where you're trying to sing karaoke songs, and if you fail, Metal Killer kills you. But
you just made literally the best video game I can.
Yeah, I think so. Save it Save as.
Could this be the first time that a video game ever exists because of a podcast?
So we should make this
like your favorite movie. Let's never edit.
Oh my god!
So I'm thinking Busey and the Beast combo pack with this game.
Like Culture Shocked double fan pack. Oh my god!
Yeah, if you want to hear the hidden track, it is at the end of the last track. Track 32. Track 32 is called Exit Stage Fright, which you can buy just as a single purchase on iTunes. And if you
great song name,
Exit Stage Fright. Well, especially for people like you who hate the movie, that it's honestly.
That's. I feel like that's unfair. And
see, Jerome, that's literally how I approach Yashar when he says things about movies. I'm just like, that's because you like the movie. Moving on.
Yeah, generally, Chris is the one that hates every film.
Yashar, what movies were we talking about in this weekend that I hate? The first 3 Marvel movies that are not very good.
Yeah, you said you hate Captain America, you hate Thor, you tolerate Iron Man, and you said they're all the same. I think they're completely different films. I mean, they have origins in them, but I don't want to get into this Marvel debate because I've done it 100 times with Chris. But generally speaking, my threshold is like, did I find the movie entertaining or not? And that's like my minimum. And if I find it entertaining, then I'll be like, okay, it wasn't terrible. Then I go into like the other things that take a film from watchable to fantastic, etc. Chris, I feel like, goes into films almost, the majority of the time with an attitude of how he's going to feel towards the film before even seeing it. And I think that
blame the trailers, bro. Blame the trailers.
And so that is how I think the difference in our opinions. So while I did find Stage Fright entertaining, I had issues with it, and I mean, it's admirable what you guys came up with, but I just wanted to bring those to light and get your thoughts on them.
No, of course.
And I mean, how often do you have like a problem or a question or whatever, and you can ask the source and then see their. I think it's insightful.
I agree. I wish to this day we had Aaron Burr still with us so we can ask him, why did you challenge him to that duel?
Holy shit, what?
You know not the facts behind it.
Man, this poor rotund face guy is getting thrown under the bus.
Yeah, well, that was why his face is like that, actually. Those were the facts.
It's bloated in embarrassment.
Gary Busey, if you're listening to this, feel free to shoot us an email. We'll set up a licensing deal. You can take the title. All I ask for is an exec producer credit at Culture Shock. Continue.
And other than y'all's final thoughts of this, is there anything you guys are working on now? Stage Fright 2? Electric Boogaloo?
We other than the Straight Outta Compton behind the scenes,
the real Straight Outta Compton.
Well, Ellie,
the real one.
Ellie has been kind of violent with me over the years.
Are you blaming his actions on music?
You upstairs.
And to be fair, he has apologized with words. We are working on something. I'm not actually sure how much we can talk about it. There is I don't know if you guys have heard of, before Stage Fright, we did a short film called The Legend of Beaver Dam, which, if you haven't seen it, you may be interested in it. It's actually available. I wouldn't YouTube it because that's a short censored version, but the full 12-minute version is available on iTunes, and the short film.
It's a short film.
Yeah, it's a short film called The Legend of Beaver Dam. And we actually are working on a project now that is inspired by that, and adapted by that, for television. It's all I can say at the moment. And when more becomes, we'll be able to say more about that soon.
Where can we see it when it's complete, or can we get a time frame on that?
The time frame is within the next year, like in 2016. And we'll have to keep you guys posted on that. But in the meantime, the short is available
And it's the full film is the full film. What you guys are working on is inspired by the short film.
We're working on a television project
Oh, wow.
inspired by this short film, which is 12 minutes long.
Awesome. That's the dream, right? Television deal.
That seems to be everyone who who we're sort of friends with that is like actually working these days seems to be working in television. More than you'd think, and more than previous years.
I have a question about that. I know I don't want to drag on, but the television thing is interesting to me. I don't know if are you guys familiar with Grantland?
With what?
Grantland, the pop culture and sports offshoot of ESPN that Bill Simmons started.
I've read articles on it.
Okay. Well, they have some interesting pop culture writers that I like listening to, and they were talking about, how like we're in like this sort of golden age of television. And it's almost gotten to the point where, at least for someone who likes to consume a lot of pop culture, like write about it, discuss it, there's like too much. Not that it's bad, it's just there's so much of it. I mean, you look at like all the Amazon Prime shows, the Netflix shows, even HBO, like not your premium channels like HBO, but you have AMC's, you have even your basic shows like NBC has Hannibal and things like that. And it's like, do you think television will be able to sustain itself producing so much material when, I mean, ultimately there's only so many hours in the day, although we do have online and DVR and things like that make things that used to be not as accessible. But what is that like transition from the big screen to the small screen that you guys are seeing? Or do you think that, do you have any opinion on it, any one way or the other?
Like you're saying, is it sustainable? Like you feel like there's like in the boom and bust of it all, you think it's just overextending itself and it's going to.
Yeah, it's just there's so much of it, and it's not. And like I said, it's not the products is bad. The products are good. It's just like me as a viewer, I watch a lot of television and movies, obviously, but like there's things that I want to see, but I'm like, you know what? I just don't have time for it. I have to limit myself. And do you think the popularity of television is going to supersede that of film? Do you think it's going to just kind of ebb and flow sort of as people's tastes? Or do you guys have any, like I said, do you have any thoughts on it at all? Or it's just a thing that's happening and you're sort of reacting to it?
I'd say it's more the latter. It's always tricky when you're in it and you're creating stuff to like really think about where you think the cycles are headed, because it's like, it's never helpful, to focus on that. It's always been like, no, just whatever, be in the moment, consume what you feel like consuming. And, if you, have an idea and you think this idea is best suited for TV, go for it. If it's better as a film, go for that. Like, hard to really, I don't spend too much time like analyzing where it'll go. But maybe what you're saying is true. I mean, there was an article recently sort of trying to, mute everyone's, not expectations, but sort of celebration of this new premium cable era. There was some article recently about how, like, let's not kid ourselves, it's not film. Like, this person was sort of annoyed that everyone was kind of mistaking, or just interchangeably referring to a lot of TV as if it's like this heightened cinematic experience, and this person, I guess, I can't remember what publication it was, wanted to come out and say, like, come on, these shows are good and they're better than they used to be, but they're not the same kind of experience. And hard to know, for me personally as a consumer, there's always something more special about sitting in a darkened room with a communal experience of a theater audience for 2 hours. But I've been into a lot of TV shows recently, so it's really hard to say. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, no, I mean, and I love the good television. I love movies. I don't think it's an either or proposition for me as a viewer, but like I said, it's just something I've noticed, like as a transition as far as volume goes. So that's why I sort of brought it up.
Well, especially with on demand and the fact that the catalog, like once something's created, it's there now internally. So it just piles on more and more and more. And to the my joke about the legal reasons, I feel totally overwhelmed with this backlog of stuff to watch that I don't even watch anything because there is that much good stuff. So I can relate to the anxiety that you're currently feeling in and around television. But I think from my end, the short answer is as long as you have, I guess, fragmented audiences that are willing to watch all sorts of different stuff, I guess it could be sustained. But maybe we're at a point where there's just everyone thinks everything's in television. People are making a lot of television, and they're ultimately going to realize actually not everyone's watching this stuff because they literally do not have the hours in the day to do it. And maybe that realization hasn't happened.
And then if they do the kind of a la carte model that people are saying, might be the future, especially with like Netflix and Hulu and everything, then a lot of these smaller channels that are basically subsidized by the cable packages, they might suffer and not be able to do some of the, like IFC puts out a lot of stuff, but like really how big is, this is just like I'm cherry picking an example. How big is their audience? Would they really be able to, survive if they went on an a la carte rather than a package deal? So, these are just things I wonder about.
Look, Phil, in a certain sense, it's just the way things are moving. Can it sustain itself? I don't know. We'll see. Like the audience, good things do sort of bubble up to the surface. I think people do respond when something is really good. But it is seeming more and more like independent film is becoming like opera. It's like it still exists, but it's a really niche audience who still goes to see independent films in a theater. And more and more people are consuming it on VOD and in other ways. And then, it's sort of like television on Hulu and Netflix is a larger force right now.
And stuff's also coming back because of it being on VOD. My favorite TV show of all time is in that position right now. The X-Files is literally coming back because of how strong it was on Netflix.
Right.
And it being, it having interest re-drummed up back in it. So the era of, TV, the golden era of TV, I see it. I don't think it's permanent though.
Right.
I think it's very much cyclical because, you could have said that a couple years back when we had Sopranos and The Wire and.
Right.
But those were all on premium cable, like Breaking Bad, Mad Men, kind of opened the floodgates.
Yeah, those are on the same channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but
it's not like ABC and CBS are really pumping out the next best drama.
Well, NBC had Hannibal.
Yeah, and it's canceled.
But, it lasted 3 seasons.
Barely. You know what I mean? But, the premium channels, I think, are where a lot of the stuff is going to end up being.
Or look at Mr. Robot. That's something more that you'd see on an HBO or something, and that's on USA now, which is kind of generally less risky fare. So, you're seeing I think a very conscious transition of every network trying to at least emulate that premium.
Oh, definitely. Feel. Yeah. Hannibal is a good example of how, yes, the sort of major networks like NBC and CBS and ABC are trying to feel edgier, and they're trying to sort of, they have no choice if they want to compete.
And NBC had Awake, which got canceled, but that was kind of high concept. I don't know if you guys ever saw that one, but I really enjoyed it, and it got great reviews. It just,
unfortunately, so did Hannibal.
Yeah, and but like I said, I just kind of wanted to pick your brains on the matter and see what you guys thought.
Yeah, good question. Very good.
You got real serious there for a minute.
I apologize. Back to Busey. Back to regular schedule programming. Busey and the Beast will be right back.
Yashar, what would be your kind of final thought on Stage Fright before we wrap this up?
I feel like I've talked about it, but it's if you're into musicals or horror movies, it's worth watching because it's definitely different. For me, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just it served its purpose of being something for me to watch. I liked some of the characters, like the Artie character and the Camila character, and the gore was pretty cool. But it kind of felt a little short for me in some of the song and plot departments. And I think as we kind of discussed, it's kind of the audience for it could differ greatly. So it really depends on what you're looking for. It's not something I would recommend to just your run of the mill. Oh, I just want to watch a movie. It's not, I'd be like, oh, you should watch this. But if you're into musicals or you want something a little different, then it might be something you want to check out.
And, you know, I'm different boat than Yashar. I would definitely 100% suggest the film. I enjoyed it when I watched it a year ago. I enjoyed it just as much and more now. The music is great. Some of the songs have been stuck in my head all day, especially the Metal Killer songs. And the Metal Killer, I don't know the name of the song off the top of my head, but it's the one song that Metal Killer and the camp kids sing back and forth.
Where they're singing and then like you go through the vents and he's like yelling back at them.
Yes.
And he says, "Shut your fucking face."
Yeah, shut your fucking face. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was the one I was mentioning earlier. It's called "The Show Must Carry On."
Yeah, that is probably one of my favorite in the film. I really enjoy the film. I think that the film is really smart in a lot of the stuff that it does. It's kind of a love letter to someone who's a big horror fan like I am. And I think that if you're into horror movies, you'll like it. If you're into less traditional musicals, you'll like it. I wouldn't show it to my parents, who my mom loves like Grease and stuff like that. I don't think that she would get it. But if you're into less traditional musicals, I think that this is a perfect film for you. And the music, like I said, is great. And it's music that you can listen to outside of the movie, which also helps.
If we do a reissue of the DVD and have a new poster with new press quotes, can we just put from Culture Shock, "Better than Casper"? That's all I want.
Better than Casper, and then fuck Casper.
How about just fuck Casper?
Yeah, actually, that's better. Yeah.
How about fuck Casper? Watch this instead.
Oh man, you can quote us saying, and I quote, "Casper was a sack of shit. This movie is the antithesis of that." But yeah, I really like this movie, and I'm glad that we got to get you guys on and talk to us about it.
Yeah. I enjoyed talking to you guys. You seem like you're pretty cool guys, despite being Canadian and not knowing who Aaron Burr was.
Oh,
it will never happen again.
I kid. Don't challenge me to a duel, please. I do not own a musket.
Is there anything that you guys want to plug?
You should. Ellie is in a web series at the moment that he has made with another collaborator, and it is entirely in Yiddish.
Okay. Do we have? Are there subtitles?
There are subtitles.
Okay, good. I'd be it'd be hard to watch otherwise, I feel like.
Yeah, no one in the world speaks Yiddish, which is why we can kind of get away with it, because no one can really correct our grammar or anything like that. But actually, it's a mutual friend of mine and Jerome's, Jamie Ellman, who's been in a lot of stuff, and who actually is kind of a musical theater fanboy. So it's a love-hate relationship, because we love Jamie, but we also hate him for liking these musicals that we tend to hate. But yeah, it's called Yid Life Crisis, and
nice.
It's a it's just actually all three of us, Jerome, Jamie, and myself, all grew up in Montreal, which is a very interesting multicultural environment with a lot of French Canadian influence, but also grew up in the Jewish community as well. So it's an interesting testimony to our lives in North America, in French Canada, and then also having this Jewish experience as well.
It's rated Chai Plus.
It's rated Chai Plus. And
I'm on the website right now.
There's swearing and other things that look, there's not many people that speak Yiddish anymore, but those that do generally try to respect the language at the highest level, and this is a much cruder approach towards it that's very influenced by Curb Your Enthusiasm and
I love Curb.
Situational comedy. Definitely not mainstream, and definitely, to everything we've been talking about, definitely niche. Definitely.
Would it be fair to say you're a Woody Allen fan?
It would be very fair to say that.
Risky fair.
Just because he does a lot of that like Jewish humor, neuroticism in his work.
It's very much a tribute to that. I mean, actually, ages ago, I think the first film that Jerome and I made, and I use the term film lightly, was like 40-minute video that was basically a Woody Allen tribute film video, which could have been edited down to about 3 minutes.
So would you call it your Tusk?
I was about to say, also not a fan of editing,
yeah, we came up with it on what would have been a podcast if there was such a thing in the 90s, and just went with it. And then we turned it into a play. We adapted it into our own play, and the play was called Carl Rosenzweig, How Was Your Vasectomy?
Nice.
So it was a play in the form of a question.
And now, I can't claim to have had the Jewish experience growing up, but I've always resonated with like that kind of humor. I'm not sure why, but
because you had Jewish food once.
I mean, people ask me if I'm from Israel all the time. I guess I have the look, but I'm like, I'm not Israeli. But that's about as close as I get to it. And I've been to a synagogue once.
You ate matzo balls this one time.
You're more Jewish than about 80% of American Jews.
But there's something about like the neuroticism and and like the just kind of the really off kilter awkwardness and like social anxiety that I just find really entertaining. And I feel like that's kind of a common theme in a lot of like the sort of, I use the term traditional loosely, but traditional Jewish comedies in like pop culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
very much so. And also to the points we were talking about earlier, there's the outsider experience and commentary from the outsider experience, which, in an analogistic fashion was sort of what was happening with Jerome and I and the theater world. Of course, which in fact actually was probably fairly Jewish at the time. But yeah, I think there's a lot of comedy and a lot of interesting, influential stuff that comes from the outsider perspective. Specifically growing up in French Canada, which I don't know if you guys have been here at any point, but it's a different place.
I was in my walrus days. I have since grown up. I actually feel like I need to have Jerome on, and we just need to sit and talk about Tusk and how much he hates it, how much I love it.
We can do that. I will plug one other thing that we made recently. This is something I didn't make with Ellie, but I made it with another collaborator, Nick Mazurka. Are you guys familiar with the ABCs of Death franchise?
Yes.
I am familiar with it.
So in ABCs of Death 2, I directed the letter V from a script I wrote with Nick.
It's not the...
And was that...
V for what?
Well,
it's like each one stands for something, right?
Yeah, but you got to watch it.
Did that come before or after Stage Fright?
That was after.
That was Stage Fright helpful in landing that gig?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the producer reached out, but the producer who reached out hadn't seen Stage Fright. It was actually, we were still in the process of editing Stage Fright when they reached out about that one. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We tried to do something completely different from, I don't know if they were expecting us to do a musical thing or anything with comedy, but we completely did not.
Well, I'll have to check it out. I only saw the first one, so.
Okay. Yeah, they're quite a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first one a lot too. So. I
think the second one is even stronger. There are quite a lot of memorable shorts from the second one. I love, there's so many actually to shout out, but yeah, if interested, we did V.
Cool. Yeah. I'll have to check that out then.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out as well.
Yashar, is there anything you want to plug?
If we're doing plugs, if you're,
we've been doing this for almost a year now. Of course we're doing plugs.
I guess follow me on Twitter so you can see my automated messages from Culture Shock at Yashar Pirasteh.
There is no man behind this curtain. How dare you?
Yeah, I'm not huge on the Twitter though. If you have questions, I will respond to them. But and then also if you are looking to move, check out my app BoxHop, BoxHopp. It's on Android. We finally submitted it to iOS, so hopefully that'll be like in the store in the next few weeks. And yeah, 'cause moving sucks. So there's that. And I have nothing else to plug.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Kulturecast. And we do written reviews and another podcast, another episode of the Kulturecast every Thursday and Monday. And that's it, really. Big thanks to Jerome and Ellie for sitting down and talking with us. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did.
Definitely. Thank you.
Let's shit on movies together again.
Yeah, let's not shit on your movie. Let's shit on, I don't know, Matilda or
I want to say
Super Mario Brothers.
Shitting on Matilda.
I want to say I gently shat on it. Like it was a nice. I was.
My God, Yashar. Just let it go. And this Thursday, we're actually going to be talking about the musical True Stories, the Talking Heads musical, which was written by Stephen Tobolowsky and David Byrne. And I actually spoke with Stephen Tobolowsky for the film, so make sure to check that out.
You tried to run, but you never could hide. Hey, there's no escape now. It's a knife or a knife. Hey, where you going, fat man? Give it some slack, but you know I just pull you right back, man. You've got to find, you never learn. You push me past the point of no return. Come here.